Weekend, really feel like we're a better football team today than we were at 7:59 on Thursday. Can't wait till we get to the rookie mini camp in a couple weeks and really see our new Steelers in action. It'll be fun. I think we're in a good place. As we speak, the rookie free agency process is in full effect. As soon as I leave, we're going to finalize that, and I'm sure we'll get the names to you guys over the next couple of days. With respect to the remainder of the off-season, I've said it before, we're going to continue to evaluate what opportunities exist to improve our roster, if there are. And with that, I'll turn it over to Coach.
I feel really good about the weekend, but probably equally as important, I felt good about the process, and I think that just tees up the weekend. And we've talked quite a bit about that. We rolled our sleeves up and got on the road and did all the things that we needed to do, utilize all the opportunities to engage with these young people, man, and get a sense of what they're capable of and how they might fit. And I just think that when you do a good job of that, it creates weekends like we experienced. And so we feel good, but obviously the quality of this weekend will be played out over the next 3 to 5 years in the careers of these people. And we got some responsibility in terms of that work as well. They're the product, we're the source. It's our job to help them grow and develop, and we're excited about getting started with that. And so I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Mike, you took a big tackle, you took 2 big corners, you took a massive tight end. Was there any added emphasis on size and maybe physicality with your picks this year?
I don't know if size per se was a point of emphasis, but obviously we value physicality and those that are capable of playing a brand of football that we value.
Last week at the pre-draft press conference, you had mentioned that you were open to doing business with the 32nd pick, maybe trading out of it. Did you guys become less eager to do so when Joey Porter Jr. was still on the board?
I think we listened. There were definitely opportunities there, and after we evaluated everything, we just felt really good about the opportunity to take Joey Porter Jr. So it worked out that way.
Coming into the weekend, did you ever see a scenario where he would be there at 32 for you guys?
You go through different scenarios and mocks, and we had him graded obviously higher than that, and we expected him to go higher than that, but we're very fortunate. We consider ourselves very fortunate to have had the opportunity to pick him at 32.
Omar, this is your first. You've been through the draft process before. This is your first one as GM. Just how was it for you to go through this entire process and come up with the class you got?
It was awesome. I think that the journey of getting here has been great. This last, since I got the job to now, it's been pretty special. But I have a great group of people that I did this with, and they were really hard for this organization, and we have a really strong group of people, and just excited. I don't know if it's hit me completely yet.
Mike, we've checked in with you along the way about how you've seen Omar kind of handle this process. Now that there's a bow on it with that some runovers, how do you kind of evaluate what it was like working with him this weekend and throughout this whole process?
I don't know that I evaluated from that perspective. We just got work to do. It's normalcy for us. We've worked together for a long time. I don't know that we hide behind roles and titles. People have opinions. We've got work to do. We've got information to gain. And so the process was very similar to how it's been in the past. I don't know that I've looked at him in a different light because of the position. I don't know if he looks at himself in a different light. I just think sometimes titles and things of that nature are overblown, and we worked together for a long time. We had some fun this weekend.
You said he was aggressive after night 1. After the next 2, is he still aggressive?
Yeah, what do they call him, the con artist? I saw that. Man, that's pretty good. It's a cool nickname.
Do you have a favorite nickname, Omar?
I've been called worse.
Hey, Omar,
Mike, you were
6th rounders. Did you kind of expect to not walk away with a quarterback in the draft? And can you tell us anything about the kid from Minnesota that you signed in free agency?
Sure. I'm not going to get into exactly who we signed. I mean, I don't know what's out there and what's not. And I know the process continues. I have some Cole Marcoux, Dan Colbert, and Mark Sadowski. They're leading, and Sheldon White. They're leading that process right now. But obviously, we didn't draft one, and we still have a couple open quarterback spots to fill. So,
Mike, what were your thoughts on the on getting defensive linemen and then also getting the big tight end?
Both guys we had a great deal of exposure to. I think we 30 visited both guys. We saw Benton down in Mobile. Saw Washington in Athens at his pro day, and so just really comfortable with what they're capable of and how they might fit, and so really excited about both guys.
Mike, Jerry asked you about size. Where do you think overall you really improved your team or were able to improve your team this weekend?
We feel good about the pedigree of the men that we've gotten. That'll be told as we get to work and really get an opportunity to put them in a professional football setting and see how it plays out. I'm not gonna have any bold predictions in that regard.
Omar,
How important was it to go back to get that 4th round pick back? And how do you go about evaluating, okay, how many draft picks do we need and where do we want them to be?
It was an opportunity, when we were sitting there in the 3rd round, we just, when the call came, about trading back, we just evaluated, we had a good feel for, how many players were left that we'd be interested in, and, got the top guy actually on that list, and, he was still sitting there, and, the opportunity to pick up a 4th, which we had lost. It was gonna be a long wait from, today, if we didn't have an extra pick, and, fortunately we got it, because we think we got a really good football player, and
Omar, with that in mind, you didn't pick in the 5th or the 6th rounds today. Was there a thought or a temptation to try to move around to get back in for a player that you were maybe eyeing up and looking at?
Yeah, you always listen, and we did. There were some phone conversations, but at the end of the day, it's just, nothing that made sense for us.
How did you spend that long break that you guys had between the picks?
On the phone, had some Chick-fil-A downstairs. We just talked amongst ourselves, continued strategy. That was a good opportunity for us to discuss the process for after the draft and signing some new free agents. We went back and met and just evaluated our roster as to where we were, and next thing you know, we were back in the room and seeing where things were shaking out.
I guess in part because of that, he didn't have a 5th or 6th round. It was kind of rare, isn't it, to go through a draft without a QB, wide receiver, or a running back. How you feeling? I asked no more about the QBs, but the receiver and running back. How you feeling there?
We feel good about some of the work that we've been able to do. There are multiple ways to add to your talent pool. We've done some things in free agency. Really excited about the acquisition of Al Robinson, for example. And so, I think last year we ran into Jalen Warren at the rookie mini, for example. And so we'll keep team building.
Mike, as you said, you had a lot of offensive pieces, free agency and the draft. How do you envision this offense moving forward? How would you like to see it work? As in,
Boy, that is a broad question. We'll hold our cards close to our vest and you'll see in the fall. How about that?
Mike, when we talked to Benton after his pick, he said it's apparent after talking to you that you want, and he said, some goons out there. Is that an apt description?
That's an accurate description, but I'll give him some media training so he can keep some of our private conversations private.
Mike, when you see a tight end that big and has that unique skill set, it looks obviously guys who can block but also catch.
I think the awesome thing about him, besides his measurables, is his mindset. Here's a guy that I think maybe has 6 offensive linemen on his license plate. He embraces the things that come with being who he is, and knowledge of self and embracing that, I think, is one of the things that made him attractive. Besides the unique physical traits and the things that he's been able to accomplish, the mindset, the willingness to is equally as exciting.
Mike, on Thursday, you talked about Broderick and how last year when you were scouting at Georgia, you were asking for a name and Broderick's came up. Did the similar sentiment come up around Darnell, or when was it that you really were able to discover him throughout this whole process?
I didn't have to ask anybody about Darnell, man. All you gotta do is watch Georgia tape. He kind of stands out. He's an enormous human. And so I had prior knowledge to him. Guys like Broderick and 3rd-year juniors, those are the guys that you ask about sometimes when you're in places, because those are the guys that kind of sneak up on you in draft prep. Washington had a longer resume and, had more exposure to him.
Mike, Georgia, Wisconsin, what is it about places that you've been back to before that makes you comfortable wanting to go to again?
You know, Georgia, obviously, they won back-to-back national championships, and you don't do that without quality players, and so we're not the only ones fishing in that pond. I mean, Philadelphia, I think, is doing a pretty good job of that. You know, sometimes a place like Wisconsin is a stylistic match. Always had a lot of respect for Jim Leonard, their former coordinator, and they do a lot of similar things that we do, and so it makes it an easy eval. There's less speculation in terms of what they might be able to do in our system of football.
Omar,
Last one.
Omar,
After the trade to get the 4th round pick back, you said, you know, your top guy was still on the board, Jimmy Washington at that point.
Yeah.
Were you, how surprised were you that he fell to that point in the draft?
I would say very, very surprised. We thought very highly of him. Honestly, did not expect him to be sitting there. You know, it's just our game.
Omar, Denzel was saying that there was a lot of emotion when you guys called Nick, and that was hard to kind of understand him because of all of that. What was that call like, and what did you like from Nick?
I mean, both Coach and I spoke to him, and he was excited. I mean, he was very emotional, and obviously, I'm sure for his parents, that's an amazing moment. We could hear the emotion in the phone, a lot of noise in the background, and that's when I talked to him, Coach. I don't know if how he was with you when you talked to him.
Yeah, it was the normal excitement that you would expect in a draft like setting. But you know, talking about Wisconsin and Herbig, man, you know, there's not a lot of speculation, man. That guy held down the same position that I watched TJ play in that place, and I think it was Van Kankel after him. You know, they asked him to do a lot of things. You see him do NFL things. They rush, they drop. It's fun to watch Wisconsin tape for those reasons.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.